We all want to eat right and we all want to feel better, don't we? But there's some nutritional basics that we need to have under our belt to really make the right choices and to understand all the things we're reading and hearing about every single day. So let's take a few minutes to just understand some basics and some concepts in nutrition, particularly functional nutrition, which adds not only the study of food and how it keeps us healthy or free of disease, but it also considers our individual physiology, our genetics, and works to use food to reduce our potential for chronic disease and even reverse dysfunction and disease. I've said this before and I'm going to say it again, and many other people say the same thing, which is there's not one size fits all diet. There's not a one size fits all food program. We all have different genetics and different lifestyles and different likes and dislikes. We even have different chemistries and physiology. We have essentially different guts, the way our guts function and the microbes that live in them and the enzymes that are produced. All that is unique to us. We might belong to a population or sub-segment of the population that is similar to us, but really there's lots of different types of people and lots of different types of guts. So the journey is to find, through functional nutrition, the foods that work for you and to adopt a lifestyle where you can eat those foods that keep you filled with nutrients. They keep you satisfied, healthy, and they're really a best fit for you. So let's think about how our grandmother and our grandfather, or maybe your great-grandparents, used to eat. How did they prepare food? How did they obtain the foods they needed to prepare meals and sit down as a family? Well, for mine, most of the things they had were grown and prepared and processed on site. They went to a market or to town. They went to town to buy the things that they needed to add to the things that they grew in their garden. Things like flowers and spices and grains. But for my mom's memory, most of the things were grown in the garden. They were prepared and meats were processed at home. Things were manufactured like butter or cottage cheese, all there in the family, in the home, and then eaten fresh. But today, things are so much easier and so much better, aren't they? We can go to the store and we get everything we need in one place. We can keep fresh things cold and they keep for a month. We can purchase staples and fill our pantry, and those things can keep for a year. We have the pantry the size of a college dorm and refrigerators, mine's the size of a small boat. Yet we are still overfed, but undernourished, malnourished. We are malnourished today as if we were short on food, but we're not. We're overfed, but malnourished. How can it be? We're obese but starved of nutrients. If we could only eat less food, but better food, we'd be healthier. It's an interesting thing to think about, isn't it? In the last 70 years, food has really changed, and as a result, chronic disease has emerged with this change in the food supply. It's just a shock to me, though, that it's taken us this long to connect food to the way we feel. I mean, I know a lot of people have thought this for a long time, but for me, I thought it was just sick people needed to think about what they eat. But now well people need to stay well by eating good food and connecting that to the way they feel. Food is not just information. Food is not just nutrition for us, but food is actually information to our body. It tells our body how to function. It works, we've talked about the gut before, that the gut works with the nervous system and with the endocrine system and the energy system and replication of DNA to dictate the purpose and plan and the function and the future of every cell in our body in every situation. So good food gives our body good information, and unhealthy food gives our body unhealthy information and gives that information to every single cell. So our food is so important, and I want to teach you some concepts in nutrition. There's 3 basic elements in our diet. Macronutrients are those proteins, fats, or carbohydrates, which are the building blocks of all food. So 3 macronutrients: proteins, fats, and carbohydrates. We talk about those sort of as the big major food groups and how to arrange those in your plate and how to make sure that you have fewer carbs than proteins and good healthy fats. So we talk in the reset plan about what types of carbs are good, what types of fats are healthy, and where to seek out your proteins. Then there are micronutrients, and those are those vitamins and minerals that we get from food. And then you might have heard the word phytonutrients. That's with a PH, phytonutrients. These are plant-derived, healthy chemicals and stuff that comes from plants. But this is the stuff that's been known for thousands of years and is really, in many cases, the foundational, building blocks of most of the pharmaceuticals and cancer treating and disease curing medications that we have today. The problem is, though, that we have overprocessed those, and our pharmaceutical companies and our food processors have really changed these things so that they're really not pure and medicinal anymore. But these phytonutrients in food is the medicine in the food. And we need to get away from these overprocessed foods and get back to that good food that can be medicine for us. Processing our food alters these substances, change the genetics. We call these genetically modified, foods. Everything we do to foods to make them grow faster and bigger and stronger, help them resist infection or infestation by bugs. We want our food to be slower to ripe so we can get it all the way on a boat over here. And we want it to be slow to discolor and rot. And we want it shiny and brightly colored and all these things. We do this by modifying our food and changing the genetics and the structure of it and spraying it with chemicals until it's really no longer fresh food. It's really more like plastic. It doesn't rot. We've talked about that before, that if food doesn't rot or age, then you should not be eating it. It is not nutritious food. Hydrogenating oils, adding sugars, processing the life out of things, applying toxic chemicals, and using trans fats to lengthen the shelf life. These are all the things that are happening to our food that really if we haven't been paying attention, we just now are waking up to as a population. Functional nutrition is the term that is used to describe this idea of eating in a healthy way, in a healthful way that's personalized to your lifestyle, your genetics, your environment, and your symptoms. So with this Reset Food Plan, we've been teaching you to learn about food and how it relates to your specific symptoms. But now as you move further into your life and your relationship with food, I want you to think about macronutrients, micronutrients, and phytonutrients. And with your improved understanding of nutrition, you're well on your way to living a holistic, healthy lifestyle for the long, long term.